I'm just going to try to make a video on this and see how it goes. I am here to talk about HOOKLOCK. It comes up in my chat a lot. Always get asked, what's HOOKLOCK? What's HOOKLOCK? It's really hard to define HOOKLOCK. There's no special definition. I tried to mention some stuff that it was, and somebody goes, oh, that sounds made up. Well, most words are made up, right? I mean, at some point, somebody had to make them up. And I would venture to say HOOKLOCK has been around at least 20 years, in different forms, probably even longer than that. And Kenny the Dragon Shung, or Kenny the Pig MTGO, or whatever you may or may not know him as, he would be the first one to really start using this word, screaming it, yelling it, if you will. Um, he may have derived part of the word hook for different meanings and things, but the way I use the word, mostly a hook is going to involve some sort of trickery. You're kind of like catching the bait, if you will, on your hook. So and you kind of hook them in a game, it's like you've kind of set them up. Now this is obviously not always used perfectly, but that's the part of the hook, and then the lock is more like a lock piece, in a game, like you're gonna make them want to concede. Basically, put them in a situation where it's really hard or impossible for them to win. Ideally, you would have put them there with a little bit of a hook job, but that's pretty rare, and the term gets thrown around just on a normal lock. So recently, it's been used a lot for the vintage cube. Kenny likes to do stipulation draft there with me. Mostly, this means drafting cards that kill lands. If that's not coming together, you got to get creative with your HOOKLOCK. You might be able to, finesse some sort of recurring nightmare situation where you're killing all their creatures, or this and that. But it oftentimes is almost always going to have a high density of mana denial in this archetype. So that's basically where the archetype's coming from. And to be quite honest, there's not a whole lot of hooking that goes into that deck. It's mostly just locking them, and it's not like trickery necessarily. Now, I'll give a few examples of, what I think a good HOOKLOCK is. Viewers of the channel will have seen this. If somehow you stumbled across this and don't understand, I'm mostly a Twitch streamer. So the Ham TV, that's my Twitch. Bing, bang, boom. This is a trove, a gold mine, honestly. If you're to go to my videos and search highlights, these are all things that I've put up at some time. Honestly, you'll see I haven't put it up in a while because nobody watches them. People are crazy. What can I say? Here is a clear HOOKLOCK here. It's at least a hook, and maybe it's not quite a lock. But you'll see this is a hook for sure. What I'm going to do, which I'll explain on my VOD here, is I'm going to tap out to do this scry here when I have a Wrath. Thoughts on me sacking my Omen when he goes into combat? So he lands a creature and I can Wrath him? I'm going to just make myself look like an idiot. I've got 2 counter spells in my hand, but I don't want to play around those. So like a fool, I'm just going to go right ahead. Tap out right now. And this is not even game 1 of the match. I've seen that he has a bomb 4-drop. To be fair, I probably should have kept that Illyrios. We won't look at that though. So we've set him up. We've set the hook. We've cast our bait.
Should have probably kept that arrow.
And here he goes right in there.
Pegasus. Oh no! What did I do?
He's falling for the hook.
Whatever have I done?
And here comes the lock.
Get
Bam.
fucked. Kids games down the street.
So there's an example.
Unreal.
Another example. One more example here of a HOOKLOCK. Growth it to a 7. We're doing some math. Thinking ahead a little bit. You know what I'm going to do? Here's what I'm going to do. This is actually a move that Ronald Gagne taught. So I have lethal in hand, but it would require him not to block. So I'm going to try to go out of my way to make a play that makes him as least likely to block as possible.
I'm going to attack with this dwarf, and I'm going to Rimrock Knight it before he can block. So he's going to see that it will just eat his pair. So that's what we're going to do. And we're going to hope he doesn't block, and it's going to go from 4 to 7, and he's going to go to 7, and then we're going to fling it.
When a HOOKLOCK works, you'll often see it celebrated as well. You see, I get quite excited when my HOOKLOCK
Rimrock
works.
it right now. I hope he doesn't block it, because he knows it's chump block. Work one time. Come on, work one time. Ah! Yes!
A HOOKLOCK is to be celebrated, and you can
That's
see
for
the
Ron.
opponent, he's just thinking. He's got
Get
no idea.
fucked.
He couldn't figure it out. He still might not know. He's about to know.
Bang! Bang! Submit him. Let's go. Atta boy, Hambone. Atta boy.
Celebrate the HOOKLOCKs. They're
Taking it to
few
the
and far
streets
between.
now. Taking it.
I tend to celebrate them, you know, with a yell, a forceful something. I know Kenny, he particularly likes to celebrate them with a dragon, with a cobra spit. Goes a little something like, he'll like do a cobra spit when he gets a good HOOKLOCK on. So really, you know, a lot of things can be a HOOKLOCK, but it's just a funny word we throw around from time to time. And all you people that think you were missing out, well, maybe you were, maybe you weren't. There's a HOOKLOCK about as best as I can describe it.